Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, where our goal is to expand your focus and perspective on life. This is your daily dose of motivation, mindfulness, and so much more. And now, here to help you take your day back, your host, Dan Hafner.
What's up, everyone? Welcome into another episode of the Run Your Day podcast. As always, Dan Hafner joining you here. It is Tuesday morning, my friends, and today is part 6. We're wrapping up this little 6-part journey and series of increasing your self-esteem, and today's topic is this: stop being a poser. As always, thank you all for joining as we conclude this 6-part series. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay, so as we have worked through these 6 parts, 5 parts up until this point, the final and sixth, I should say, the 6th and final piece here is the concept of personal integrity. Okay, personal integrity, I'm going to read this from this definition I found here. Personal integrity reflects your ability to lead a life that is aligned with your values and principles. This increases and enhances your self-belief that you are sufficiently equipped to lead your life on your terms using your skills and strengths. In other words, not being a poser, right? Like, whether you have values that align with your, say work is your most important thing in your life. Your career is your most important thing. Your actions are going to reflect that. You're going to be more prone to skip out on home activities, skip out on social activities. You might be that person that blows off people when they want to go to the bar, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, is that what actually makes you happy? Are you actually doing that for a specific reason, or are you doing it because of a story you tell yourself, right? If you have certain values and principles that first of all, if you don't have certain integral values and principles that you live your life by, you're very, very prone to drift. You're very prone to be influenced by others, right? I lived in this place for a long time. I didn't have a set of core values or a belief system that I actually followed and that I actually believed in. And I was very, very prone to influence. I noticed I would never take a side on an argument. I would always see differing points of view with validity. I would be very, very prone to see things, online and be like, well, that makes sense. That I think that's a good idea. I want to join this or whatever it was. Right. And it wasn't because I was stupid or I was naive, but I became that way because I didn't have a set of core values and beliefs that drove my decisions and my thinking. Right? It's like a compass. It's like without that pointing direction of no, this is what I believe and this is where I'm going. It makes it very difficult when something comes along, like shiny object syndrome, right? Like you're like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. If you're living in truth with your principles and assets or I shouldn't say assets, your values, it makes it very, very easy to say no. It makes it very, very easy to be like, you know what, that's a good idea, or this might be something I want to do, but it doesn't serve what I'm ultimately after and what I ultimately stand for. So no, it's easy to say no to this thing. Whether it's, a different project, a different job, a different relationship, a different whatever, and it's so interesting because it really comes down to whether you lie or you tell the truth, and not to anyone else, but to yourself. That's what, in my opinion, I think personal integrity really, really comes down to, and personal character, right? What are the things that you do when no one's looking? Are you slacking off? Are you doing different things than what you say to the world that you're doing? Or are you actually doing the things that you preach? Right. And even after I started this podcast, I lived in this place as well. I would come on here and ask you guys questions and have you do challenges, and I wouldn't even do them myself. And I completely realized that I'm undermining my own credibility here, but that's what this show is all about. I'm not saying I do that anymore. Like, I actually do these challenges. I actually ask myself these questions, but I do it beforehand. And that's why I come on here and talk about it with you, so I have an idea of what I'm talking about and the stories I can tell you. Right? I've asked myself these questions long before I come on here to talk about it with you. I've been through a lot of this stuff. And I'm not saying I'm more advanced than you, I'm more intelligent than you, anything like that. Like, I've just searched inside of myself for these answers already. So that's why I'm asking you to do them. Right? So getting back to the title of this show and being a poser, do you go through your life or your day and say one thing but do another? You become a poser, right? Like, you become someone that isn't reliable, isn't integral. You're out of integrity because your actions don't back up your words. Like, I learned a long time ago not to listen to the shit that I say about myself, like the shit that I say I'm going to do, because I would not do a lot of things that I said I was going to do. And it bleeds through in other people. People are like, yeah, dude, you say you're going to do all this cool stuff, but what are you actually doing? Right? There's no integrity with you. There's no integrity with you because you're not reliable. You're not able to be counted on. You're not integral because your actions speak louder than your words ever will. Right? So, man, this is tough. This is really tough. Like, I'm kind of taking some trips down memory lane as I go through this. And I mean, just from additional experience of myself, I was in a place for a long time where I was not in integrity with myself. Not even like mentally, but spiritually, physically, whatever you want to call it. And it's hard to realize that when you're in that place. Like, it's very, very difficult to be like, well, I'm out of integrity. This is why I'm not happy. Well, in that place, you're already living inside of a lie or a story that you tell yourself that justifies everything. That justifies, like, well, this is what I need to be doing, or this is the path that I'm on, so I just need to do it. But once you step out of that place, once you're able to rise out or get out of that, you can look back, and hindsight is 2020. I can guarantee you. You'll look back and you'll be like, wow, yeah, I was pretty out of whack from what I believe and what I wanted to do. And that's why I didn't say no, right? So the more integral you can become with yourself, the easier it is to say no, the easier it is to prioritize things, and the easier it is to actually get what you want. This has taken me a long time to learn, but the more you can live in accordance and actually take actions that back up your beliefs and your values and principles, the happier you'll be, the more self-esteem you'll have, and the better you will become as a person. And I'm not even there yet. Like, I'm still getting to the place where it's difficult. Like, it's difficult to do the things I say. It's difficult to back up the things that I say with action, right? But you can't do it overnight. Like, you have to do this is a process. There's a gestational process. There's just time. There's just time that's involved, and doing work every single day, taking actions, and just getting after it all the time. So my question for you as we wrap up today's show and this 6-part series is this. Where in your life are you out of integrity? Like, where are you not doing the things that you say you're going to do? Where are you a poser, my friend? Where are you a poser? You're a poser somewhere. You know it. That's the worst part about it, is you know it. You know you are a poser, and you know you are a liar, but you refuse to admit it. And once you start to admit that you're out of integrity with yourself, the quicker you can come back into integrity. All right, my friends. So that's going to wrap up today's show. You're a poser. And it's also going to wrap up this 6-part series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any feedback or any tips or any suggestions for another series we could do, always check us out on Facebook or tweet at me on Twitter as well. Love to hear your suggestions. Love to hear your feedback or comments. So this is going to wrap up today's show. I'm not wrapping up the show by any means. If anyone didn't notice, we're already I passed the 150 episode mark here not long ago. So that was pretty awesome. I can't believe it's been this long. So, all right, my friends, we will join you. Hope you join tomorrow. We'll continue on with some other stuff, and we'll get back to a different routine of things. As always, thank you all for joining. Dan Hafner signing off. Make it a great rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to the Run Your Day podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, feel free to share today's show with friends and family. Until next time, have a great day.